It's American National Standards Institute. Now, what do they rate? What do they rate, for instance? They will tell us that the nails that are holding our shingles to our roof, that they are galvanized nails. Those are the nails you should know. You should use. The steel toes that I'm wearing, these boots right here, they are ANZI Standards to a weight of 6,000 pounds. Why? Because they found that that's the standard for America. Same thing with pruning. They have set the standard on what is done to promote healthy growth on our trees. They care. So if you look in that little brochure, you could Google it. ANZI 300 standards are what we like to stick to. ANZI standard states that you would only remove 25% of the tree's foliage. So 25%, that's not a lot of growth that is being removed. However, that has been deemed what is reasonable, what is the accepted practice to prune our trees with. Time to prune. Here in Southern California, when can we prune? Anybody have any? Southern California, we're pretty fortunate with this weather we have. Certain things like, say, podocarpus, you could prune anytime, push back off your property, things like that. Other species, say, like oak, for instance, you would want to prune in the early spring, before the new buds are coming out. Pine trees, depending on what's going on in the area, for instance, many of you may know we have the pine bark beetle that is, apologize for that, just a duck. We have an active case of the pine bark beetle here actually in the beach area, all along the coast of California, parts of Oregon. We also have Fusarium, it's a circanum, it's a pathogen that's attacking the pine tree. So due to those two factors that are localized right here in the South Bay, it's important to only prune pine trees in the cold winter months. So if it's cold winter in December, January, that would be the time to go ahead and do it. If it's still cold in February, who knows, that would be the time to do it. The reason being is that the pine bark beetle, they are fairly slow down in the cold winter months. So we want to provide them not with that much opportunity to go in and attack our pine trees. As well as the water uptake of pines, it slows down in winter, as does with anything else. Just off the top of my head, eucalyptus, also you want to prune when it's December or January, due to the silver, due to the tortoise beetle. There in the tree section, there's a heavy infestation of that as well.
And how do you get rid of it?
Of
the beetle in the eucalyptus tree.
The beetle in the eucalyptus. It sounds like you might have one.
I have it, yeah.
Oh
and
my
I've
goodness.
had it treated once, and I always prune at the point of the pod, like early November, so that we don't get it all over.
So you've noticed the notched leaves?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Then you're totally. Then you're totally. And you're here in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's
where the beetles eat it.
Yeah, it's actually the space they chewed out. It's just that little half moon where they'll go ahead and chew all around it.
And then you get what I thought for years was sticks on the car that parks under it, cars that park under it. So I kept thinking it was from Chevron, but it's beetle poop.
Yeah. So you're living it firsthand. That's interesting to hear from a resident here in Manhattan. The best way to go about it is to have a healthy tree. So by implementing a lot of the things we're talking about today, it will provide an area where it's not going to have a lot of fleshy green quick growth. And we'll discuss that a little bit as we go on.
And you cut that off when it happens? Fleshy green quick growth that's coming out of odd spots?
No, not at all. You want that fleshy quick green growth to develop into mature growth. So we'll get into our pruning practices. Okay. We talked about it, if we top a tree or we provide a topping cut where you're going to get that fleshy green growth, we want the tree to grow slowly and with good structure. So we'll get into pruning practices that won't have that quick green growth. So ideally, if you could prune to ANZI standards, that'd be great. Even if you have to prune, just prune for like height clearance, utilities, things like that, and deadwood. That'd be ideal if you have an infestation going on.
In other words, you don't prune.
Well, pruning for what you need. You wouldn't simply say, look up the eucalyptus and say it's got too many leaves on it, or perhaps my neighbor is getting theirs pruned, so I'm gonna get a deal. I'm gonna have mine pruned at the same time.
We always get a deal with the neighbor.
Yeah. So
the dump charges and worker charges.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tree companies, they will come out and they will do that. They won't go door to door. We always say beware of things like that, because you will be getting your tree pruned simply because it's in his best interest to do it right now financially for him and possibly for you. So you want to prune your tree to promote what's in your best interest, which is having a healthy tree. So that's something to consider as well. Anything else I could help with on pruning before I move on to the next?
Did you talk about, did I miss fruit trees?
Fruit trees, yeah. What would you guys like to know about fruit trees?
Well, we have had a plum tree for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And like the...
I'll give you a quick overview.
Like, I think there's some around the trunk that should come off.
Okay. If it is sucker growth coming from the base, then it should definitely come off. Anytime it comes to fruit trees, you want to keep in mind the whole point in having a fruit tree is why?
Fruit.
So we could get that fruit, right? Whether it be a lemon, a peach, tangerine, whatever. So I like to keep them pruned down simply for clearance, for being able to reach them. On your certain stone fruits, for instance, you want to prune in a way that you will keep last year's growth, because they will continue to produce off of last year's growth. You don't want to, on stone fruits, you could produce a little bit more aggressively.
And when they're young, you can't prune too much.
Structurally, you're going to want to keep them pruned to promote that healthy growth. You know, avoid crisscrossing branches and the like. Good morning. And so on and so forth. Citrus, you can be a little bit more aggressive with when it comes to topping them and keeping them rounded out. Plum trees, they're having a fairly hard time right now, plum trees in the South Bay.
I got 3.
And how are they doing?
3 plums.
Are they leafed out pretty good right now?
Oh, yeah, it's leafed out.
But how was last year? Did you get a lot of plums off them?
It's a new tree.
All 3 are? Okay.
No, we have 1 plum tree. We have an apricot tree on plum rootstock because last year we got a plum.
Oh, interesting. Okay. See how that turns out.
The apricot tree.
Are the roots very deep?